Dr. Kevin Snyder is the only Toastmaster in the world who earned the Accredited Speaker designation in 2022 through Toastmasters International. He also recently earned the Certified Speaking Professional credential, one of the highest honors amongst professional speakers. However, Kevin is not a natural speaker or motivated person. As a teenager, he struggled through depression and even being arrested. Desiring to use his challenges and past experiences for good to help others, he started his career working with students and worked at several colleges and universities. Most recently, he served as the Dean of Students at High Point University. After several years of working on campus and earning a doctorate degree, Kevin knew he needed to share his story beyond just the classroom. This is one reason he knew he needed to pursue his own speaking and book publishing career. And this is when he joined Toastmasters and the National Speakers Association. Since Kevin's first presentation nearly 20 years ago, he now speaks professionally full-time and has presented motivational leadership keynotes and programs for over 1 million people through over 1,000 organizations in all 50 states and several countries. He also coaches aspiring speakers and wrote several best-selling books. One of those, Paid to Speak, outlines his process for how to become a professional speaker. Kevin is a multi-TEDx speaker, scuba diver, skydiver, and sailboat captain. He lives in North Carolina, USA with his amazing family. And fun fact, lived his childhood dream of meeting Bob Barker and winning big on the television game show The Price is Right. So please give a warm Toastmasters welcome to Dr. Kevin Snyder. Kevin, come on down.
Oh, yeah. All right. Where are my Price is Right fans? Where are my Journey fans? Don't stop believing. Come on, put your hands up. If everybody does it, it does not look weird. I promise. Well, hey, everybody. My name is Kevin Snyder, fellow Toastmaster. I'm a DTM. And in 2022, I was honored to become the 90th accredited speaker in program history. And I was shocked to find out I was the only Toastmaster in the world in 2022 that earned it. So today we're going to talk a little bit about the accredited speaker program. I'm going to talk to you about becoming a professional speaker, how to do that, some basic tips, and answer any questions you got. Because my hope is that we inspire you to consider how to become a professional speaker. I know you got 2 clubs that are coming up, Accredited Speakers Toastmasters Club as well as Storytellers Toastmasters Club. Look, these are great new clubs. I hope you support those. I've started speaking professionally Toastmasters, and I know how hard it is to start a club, how to charter that, and keep it going just in general. So honored to help you all in any way that I possibly can. Sound good? Hope so. All right, so, like most families, there's a Cousin Eddie. Every time I hear my introduction, I'm always thinking, wow, I'm kind of random. Like there's, well, I'm the Cousin Eddie in my family. I don't mind it. I leverage it with my speaking. I hope that there's something you and I have in common with that random introduction, okay? But if you don't know who the Cousin Eddie is in your family, guess who it probably is? Right? It's probably you. Camera switch, right? So, also, where are my Price is Right fans? Raise your hand if you're a Price is Right fan. Okay, if you're not raising your hand right now, please check your pulse. Right? I think most of us has probably yelled at the TV when somebody makes a silly bid. And one more time, where are my Journey fans? Right, I got 2 hands up for that. I mean, Journey, Don't Stop Believing, is not just the #1 song of all time, in my opinion. In my opinion, I'd also suggest it's the #1 determinant of our success. Would you agree? I hope so. Because there are a lot of people that believe their doubts and doubt their beliefs, and then they wonder why something doesn't feel right, or they feel unfulfilled, or they're not achieving their goals. So that's why Don't Stop Believing. I start off every single presentation with that song and leaning into now the content. Because all of us, we have to be self-motivated to do what we do, don't we? So if you're truly going to be inspired to find your spark, you have to believe in yourself. Even if there might be times where you have some self-doubt. Self-doubt's real, and it can be brutal. So we have to believe in the right things. And I'm living proof that if you want to become a professional speaker, if you're committed to it, if you find the right support, the right system, you can achieve that goal. It's not going to be easy. But will it be worth it? Absolutely. Because frankly, my friends, aren't we all on a journey to success in our own way? Of course, I mean, that's what people think the success arrow is. But you and I both know that's not it, right? I mean, what's that real arrow to success that looks like? It's the squiggly lines, right? It's the mistakes, the lessons earned, the time that it takes, the trial and error, right? So where's that arrow pointed though? Up, forward. And that's what I want you to be reminding yourself today, that, no speech is complete without an iceberg. So here it is. But so much of success is only what people see. But the majority of it is what people don't see. With your own speaking, how much time you put into crafting a speech, but also club management, club leadership, district leadership, relationships. So today, what I want to try to do is make the complex simple, and I want to inspire you to say, look, this isn't going to be easy, but it will be worth it. I'm going to give you some tips and strategies, whether it's accredited speaker, whether it's paid speaking, or maybe you're like, hey, I have no interest in that, either one. I'm like, that's fine. I hope I shift that by the end of this brief presentation. So look, one reason why, think of this. This is my speaking calendar for May alone. I'm not showing this to you to impress you, but to impress upon you. Become an accredited speaker. This could be your calendar. Travel all over the world, speaking to districts all over the world, right? Sharing your story, sharing your message. And that's one of the things I love about it. So look, in 2022, I became an accredited speaker. I spoke at the International Convention. This is a picture of that. Now, for those of you that want to become an accredited speaker, I put together a special website just for you where you can actually watch some of the interviews that I've done with other accredited speakers. And if you don't know what a QR code is, don't worry about it. Just type up this website, paytospeak.biz/accred. Okay? Number one, I'd encourage you to watch my video. And here's something that's really important. Accredited speakers don't become professional speakers. No. Professional speakers are recognized as accredited speakers. So you need to be already speaking professionally in order to receive the accredited speaker designation, which is why you need to start now if this is something you want to do for next year. Okay? Now, in the website that I mentioned that you'll get a copy of or have access to, you'll see my accredited speaker speech. Encourage you to watch it. You'll get to see my style, my delivery, but also the whole kind of venue. Number two is you'll get access to an interview where Toastmasters International interviewed me on a podcast, asked some really awesome questions about the process, how, hey, the time I first did it, I didn't make it, and why, because I made a mistake. Second, you'll hear an interview with the other accredited speaker co-chairs. You'll hear me interview other accredited speakers and an interview with the first international vice president. That all happened shortly after the convention and actually more. So I would encourage you to watch it just out of curiosity, but more so, especially if you're interested in professional speaking or the accredited speaker designation. That's a must, okay? So look, again, not to impress you, but to impress upon you, I've been able to live a dream and travel the world through speaking at a time where I was once told, my first job, my boss in a performance review told me that I needed to work on my speaking. That's when I joined Toastmasters. And I did it to get better, to improve, but also to prove him wrong. Okay? And over the years, I've been able to share my story, to be authentic, to be vulnerable. I struggled with depression as a young boy. And now I'm able to help students. I'm able to help professionals talk about mental health, talk about leadership, right? And my Toastmaster speech has helped me land into professional speaking, which also has helped me deliver a few TEDx talks. So I would be honored if you wanted to watch my most recent talk called Pure Vulnerability. And I open up about my depression and some other important things that happened in my life. But I want you to look at these images real quick, because this may or may not motivate you. I don't know. But there's multiple ways of getting paid to speak, which we'll talk about in a moment. But imagine this. Imagine you get to share your story, your current 5 to 7 minute Toastmaster speech. Convert that into a keynote where now you can inspire people to do the same, to change the world, to help them with some of the day-to-day challenges that they have. And probably most importantly, it creates a lifestyle for you. You know, I don't know if you love what you do now, or the format of how you do what you do now, if you have to show up for an office, or if you're at home working remote. But imagine this. Imagine you get to travel. Imagine you have a lifestyle where you can have breakfast and dinner with your kids. I got a 4 and a 2-year-old right now. And yes, I travel at times now, but they're able to come with me. I'm able to be dad. I'm able to be home. And I don't have a supervisor breathing down my neck. I quit my day job to live my dream job. And I am my own boss. So I don't know if any of that motivates you. Some of you, I know you might be thinking of legacy right now. Think of your life experience, how you can share that. You know, even if you're retired. I've worked with people, helped them become professional speakers in their retirement because they have so much amazing life experience. So I would encourage you all to consider the same. So look, in the next 3 to 4 minutes, I'm going to give you a lightning round of some tips on how to become a professional speaker. Mark Twain said it best is, hey, if I had more time, I would have written you a shorter letter, right? I've spent more time actually on this trying to condense it in 15 minutes than I have in the past 2 or 3 hour keynotes I've done for other districts. So it's a challenge, and I hope that you kind of laugh at that, but also respect that. So I wrote a book called Pay to Speak, How to Become a Professional Speaker. I'm going to give all of you all an opportunity to get a free copy of this today. I'll share that slide at the very end of today. But I wrote a book called Pay to Speak. It outlines my process that I recommend, based on my experience at least, on how to develop a paid speaking business, or frankly, how to still work full-time in your current job, but land paid speaking engagements on the side. And what I want to do is dissect a few of these principles with you. Number one is this. The greatest speakers are the greatest storytellers. Would you agree with that? Yes or yes? Yes? Good. The greatest professional speakers are the greatest problem solvers. I have never been asked to come in and just speak for a client. Even the ones that have seen me speak and have referred me and have hired me over and over, they're always asking me to come in and help them and their employees or the students. I do a lot of college speaking as well, to help them solve problems. So you have to be thinking about, and this is what I'll help you do in Module 1 of Paid to Speak, is helping you get clarity on how you want to help your audiences. What problem do you want to help them solve? Number 2 is this: how do you want to differentiate yourself? Right? What's going to make you different as compared to another speaker in a very similar topic? And I'm a motivational speaker, so I have a lot of competition. My market's flooded. So how do I stand out in that sea of sameness? And I found out strategies on how to do that. I'll share some of those tips with you. Number 3 is this: I never just get up and speak. I've got a kind of a 3-prong approach. Number 1, I want to educate, right? That makes sense, right? I want to share some content that will inspire them. But number 2, I also want to engage. And then number 3, I want to empower them to want to do something with that information. Because if I can't empower them, then there's no call to action. And I've seen a lot of speakers, they just want to talk. Or they're very interactive, but their content isn't very relevant that helps people in their day-to-day. So if you focus on this 3-prong approach, it'll be a nice wheel that will run smoothly, in my opinion. Also, well, what are they hiring? It's the speech. Well, what is a speech? Well, here are the elements of a speech. Number 1, you need to have a title. Number 2, you need to have a description. You need to have outcomes. and you need to have a bio and a headshot, at least for paid speaking, right? And then you need to outline that into a program. Ideally, a 45-minute to a 60-minute program if that's a keynote. Or you could be hired to do a half-day training or a full-day training or even an MC. Because my friends, there are multiple ways to get paid in speaking. Write that in the chat if you don't mind. Multiple. There are multiple ways. Let me share with you a few of these. Number one, you could be a keynoter, right? I do a lot of association keynotes. In module 3 of my book, I walk you through my model, my association model. Number two, I have clients that hire me to come in internally for their companies as well. I also do a lot of unique events with colleges. I do workshops. I present to youth. And I also do retreats, and I do some MC work. So all these are ways that you could be paid to get paid to speak. And I do have a process on when I know basically when and what to charge. So number one, are they contacting me? Number two, have they seen me speak? Or have they been referred by somebody who has? And then number three, is this a conference or some type of event that is charging a registration fee? And my friends, if these are my criteria, and not one size fits all, but if these three are answered, or if I can check yes, and there's a way I know this, by the way, it's in Pay to Speak, it walks you through it, then guess what? That's where it becomes different between, hey, I'm speaking to a Rotary Club for free and getting paid a rubber chicken lunch, as compared to, hey, my fee is $5,000. There is a way to figure all that out. Plus, if you're not charging enough, they don't think you're that good, because they always have options. So if I'm the lowest price speaker, and this has happened on multiple occasions and even recently, where they just assume I'm not as good as another speaker that might be charging twice as much. So you also got to know the industry that you're targeting, and that's something else. If you don't have a target audience or a target type of industry that you want to speak to, well, Module 3, that'll help you out, get clarity on, because you have to. Otherwise, you're chasing squirrels. I mean, you're chasing squirrels constantly. And it can feel overwhelming. You'll feel exhausted. But when you catch one, right, when you focus, right, follow one course until squirrel, then you'll know, hey, this is awesome. I now have an industry that's replicable, and I can travel across the world speaking to the same types of professionals that work in this environment. And then here's just a slide too, just some ways I keep in touch. All these are free. I don't have a lot of systems that cost me money. You're welcome. My systems, they just work. They work for me, and I walk you through that in Module 3. Okay? And then lastly too, and I'll shut up after this, take some questions, but folks, if you're looking to do this, speaking is a learning curve. Everything that we do new in life is a learning curve. Becoming an entrepreneur is a learning curve. And even then, once you learn it, then you have to, accountability is crucial. And that's where coaching comes in as well. So that's why I love you've got your community group with accredited speakers, Toastmasters. I'm here to support you as well. And now we'll do some Q&A. But before we do that, I do want to give a chance for you to get a free copy of this book. And here's how we do that. So by show of hands, how many of you would like to get a free copy of Pay to Speak? Okay. Type in the chat if you'd like to get a free copy of Pay to Speak. Just put that in the chat, because here's basically what I'm giving away today. In honor of a foundation that I work with that provides research for mental health. I am actually going to gift anyone that makes a donation to this foundation a free copy of my book. I will mail you a copy of my book. So once you make that donation on that page, I am happy to mail you a copy of this book. And the donation could be for any amount. But just know it's a great foundation that I do work with. And every time I speak, I advocate for them, because I am living proof while research on mental health is important, because I wouldn't be alive today without it. Okay? And for those of you that also would like to get a copy of today's slide deck, just scan this QR code as well, because this will give you a chance to input your email address so that you can actually get a slide deck of what I've shared with you today, as well as anything else that you may have missed that I talked through fairly quick. Okay? So put this code, and if you, again, don't have a QR code reader, that's fine. Just go to talk.ac/Kevin Snyder. So now that we've got that done, let's take some questions.